Let's go. There we go. There we go. Let's go now. Let's make sure the audio and visuals is good. How's everybody doing tonight? Tuesday night, Wednesday's price action. Coach Hoop in the chat is loving gold. Man, you should have been here the night before, last night. Last night was the same thing. It just kept going. It's just going and going and going. And it's gone. Yeah, so let's just get started. Let's jump right into it. As always, in the YouTube chat from Bruno right there, our top step risk disclosure is for education purposes only. Tonight it's for educational purposes only. Whenever I'm live here on the YouTube and on social media, it's educational purposes only. It's not a signals class. We know this is not financial advice. We're here to navigate these markets, provide a little bit of perspective, and hopefully help some traders out along the way. So let's take a look at these markets. What a freaking day. Talk about buy the dip. Is it buy the dip day again? I don't know. Let's look at it. I did take a $200 loss. I'll go over it. I'll go over everything. But before we do that, how's everybody doing? How's your trading? And yeah, let's just see. Let's just get the vibe in the YouTube chat to see how we're doing while we get a few stragglers logging in and tuning in. Yoda Dakota, the 100 tick sleeper. Yeah, I love the 100 tick. Dakota, you want to guess what Hoag's? Oh, what's Hoag's? You know what? Wherever gold's at right now, that's Hoag's weekly kickoff. That's usually what it is. Yeah. Hoag is pretty good with the weekly kickoff. We'll review gold. Don't worry. Like I said, we'll do NASDAQ. We'll take a look at gold. Yeah, Hoop. Oh, right there, right now. Let's take a look at this NASDAQ. Let's review it. Let's start at the daily chart. Well, it was a roller coaster. I did extremely well in my trading yesterday or today's during the New York session. Probably one of my better days of the year. It wasn't the best day of the year, but one of my better days of the year. So it's up there. I was looking, and we talked about this last night, right? A little bit of a shoulder head shoulder pattern forming. Well, today we sold all the way off, and we came down, and we did end up touching this level, this 23,000 level. And what happened? We just freaking bounced right off of it. Now we are coming back up. We bounced off it. We came down, and we rallied up to this level, these 400 level, almost 400. Basically where we broke down last night during London session. We bounced up. Support becomes a resistance. Let's take a look at the hourly chart. We could zoom in and start to see it better. And yeah, here it is. Sure enough, we sold off, and this was the low I was talking about. Tuned in, right? Slow markets. This was that first low that I was talking about last night. Coach Jay was on with me. We said, yeah, this is a nice level. There could be some great buying opportunities down here. If we do start to break, guess what that next level was? Is looking down here at basically these August lows. And those August lows happen to be a lot of support there. And then, worst case scenario, or one of the scenarios, not worst, but 22,800s 22,900 is definitely, it was on the docket when we started to see that major selling. But what happens? Support and resistance, right? This was some major support. We broke down last night during London, and we kind of consolidated during the New York session, but ultimately it was like buy the dip, right? We bought this dip, and support becomes resistance. Is that going to be what we're seeing here, where this was support and we're starting to see a little bit of resistance coming into the NASDAQ right now? You can see there was some resistance before, right? Support and resistance right at this upper 23,300 levels. So we'll see. We do have Jolt's job tomorrow. I'm on air tomorrow during fast markets. We shall see where this NASDAQ goes. But a lot of buyers stepped in. Like if we measure this move, I mean, that was 350 points, over 1.5% just bounce. But then, I mean, we did get almost a 2% sell-off as well. So violently unchanged, it feels like. Let's zoom into a 5-minute chart. And I'm going to break this down a little bit more. Yeah, look at this. Is this a double bottom pattern? Is this a double bottom pattern? And we broke through this level with violence. Nice little pullback before we pushed higher. And now we're kind of going sideways. So do we see another leg higher up to those 400s? Or are we going to come back down towards these 260s and retest where we broke out? This is a good looking pattern. Beautiful looking double bottom pattern. I'm going to zoom in and kind of do a little more in-depth analysis. Then we'll go take a look at gold, because gold is on the move. Gold's always been on the move this week. So one thing, this is a big note, okay, chat? And I'll refer back to this. We closed down here in these 70s. And we opened tonight clear up here at these 380s. So that's a 100-point difference between where we closed the settlement, the end of the New York session, and then we opened the new Wednesday's price action. And what happened in between? Well, I think, let's see if this shows it. But Google News came out. Let me pull it up so I'm not saying anything incorrect. And chat, you probably know it. But here's just the headline. This is just a headline, right? It says, Google stock jumps 8% after the research giant avoids worst-case penalties in antitrust. So Google and Apple just popped. I mean, to me, it was unexpected. I was buying the dip. And sometimes, what's the crossroads between preparation and execution? Sometimes you get lucky. So I would say, we could always plan. Right? We could plan for what we have, and we could plan for, our trade and our execution. And sometimes we get headlines that come out and it's in your favor and it works amazing. And it's just like, oh, wow, that came out of nowhere. I was just going for base hits and boom, there's a home run. Or vice versa, right? You're just, maybe someone was trying to short this area, and the next thing they know, just headline comes into this market and just destroys that position. So it works both ways without bad luck, good luck, whatever. Maybe you're not even saying luck, but it's headlines, right? But the key thing that I wanted to point out was sometimes when we have big moves from where we close to where we open price action, that's 100 points, and we're right in the middle of that. There could be opportunities on those levels. So it says luck is when opportunity meets preparation. Yeah, there you go. That's it. So maybe if we do start to sell off, could there be some long opportunities down at this level to where we closed? Settlement, right? And then vice versa. If we do start to rally up, is there going to be some short opportunities up around here? Maybe. We're kind of right in the middle. This has been a big resistance level, big resistance support. This is that one that I was talking about on those higher time frames. This is that big support and resistance. So let's just see where this goes. I'm down $200 tonight. The trade that I took and I did take a loss on was actually a long. I ended up getting in long right here. Unfortunately, my stop loss was just below that. Stopped me out. It's maybe one of those cases where a stop loss is a better entry. I was looking for a little bit of a push up into these 60s, but that's okay. Stop loss is better entry. I say that more often than I wish I did. Let's take a look at gold. And, wow. Coach Hoop in the chat. talking about it. Hoag's weekly kickoff high. If you don't have these levels, I mean, where is that at? That's top step levels. Now remember, this is not financial advice. These are not signals. It's just levels of interest, right? It's like, oh, this is an interesting level that we could see movements around, right? Let me make sure I'm doing this right. If I'm not putting these levels on correctly, just let me know in the chat. Let's see. And then we hit, do we have to, someone, yeah, there we go. There it is. Let's take a look at GC. Okay, am I doing it wrong, chat? Am I just doing it wrong? But look at this. This is on gold. Coach Hoop is pointing this out. Look at that weekly kickoff high. Wow. Yeah, 36.16. We went right up to it, tapped it, and sold off down to these 36.03s. I gonna be honest, chat. I do not know exactly what the formula is or where these levels come up with on some of these. Obviously, last week's high, yesterday's high, settlement. Some of these are just big levels that, as traders, it's nice to have on the chart. Anybody could come in and say, okay, that was last week's high. Simple. Oh, this was yesterday's high. Okay, simple. But it's nice to have that level on the chart. It's just an indicator, top step levels. But man, that kickoff high is, yeah, Coach Hoop says tea and chicken bones. But whatever it is, I give me some of that. That was beautiful here on gold. Nice setup. And let's take a look. I want to dive a little bit more in depth on gold, because gold was such a beautiful trade, a beautiful opportunity. We've been talking about it for weeks, almost months here in gold. I posted about it. I talked about it on the gram, on the Twitter, and all that fun stuff. But what has it been? Look at this ranging market. Buy low, sell high. I had some FOMO because I bought there and I sold like here, but unfortunately it just kept on going. And yeah, this was a beautiful flagging pattern, right? Consolidating, equal highs, ever so slightly higher lows. We reversed. Maybe there's a hint of like, why is gold going? Or is the market, is the world falling apart? Are we going? Is there political risk? Is there war? Is there this or that? You know, sometimes technicals just play. It really does. We are at all-time highs, and this could very well be a technical pattern. It could be a, gold's rallying because interest rates might have a higher probability of decreasing, right? Maybe, oh, wow, the Fed's going to decrease in interest rates. Gold, let's move some money over gold. Who knows, right? We just trade what is in front of us. As of right now, gold is on a run. This is a daily chart, if you didn't know that. But yeah, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row. We're just pushing. We're at all-time highs. Let's zoom into an hourly chart. And yeah, I mean, we kind of heard it here first when we were talking about buying the dip and looking for opportunities to buy the dip. Well, we didn't get much of a dip opportunity to be buying in this gold. There wasn't really much of a pullback. If you did, great on you. Every single night during slow markets when there was dip opportunities, I was talking about buying it. And yeah, there wasn't many. That is for sure. And we're just going. We're going. And it's one of those where they say, where it can't get any higher, right? It can't go any higher. We're overextended. But then it just keeps going. And then it keeps going. And then you say that same thing over again, and then it goes some more, and then you're just like, what in the world is going on? And then you zoom out, and then you're like, okay, that makes sense. The fact that you zoomed all the way out, and you're like, okay, this market does have some room to go, because if we do end up measuring, last time we had a big rally like this, like, okay, this market could actually be going up to like 3,900, 3,800. And so there's definitely more room to the upside in gold that could be happening because we just broke out. Now, a breakout trade, you can see some momentum pick up. But for me, it's kind of just sitting on my hands and waiting. I'm going to be honest, I'd love to see a nice pullback down to these highs. And I would love to see this was major resistance, I want to see that major resistance become support for a buying opportunity. That's what I'd like. This is a hot market for sure. So let's start zooming in. Zooming in, hourly chart, we just broke out. We're at all-time highs. Not really much to go or talk about. Let's look at the 5-minute chart. Any opportunities here? We have that weekly kickoff high of 36.16. I pointed out, I think I was putting it on here wrong. Somebody in the chat probably knows what I'm doing wrong. I'm not 100% sure. What am I doing wrong, chat? Hit the refresh button. I don't know. I'm doing something wrong putting this level on, but it shows in the micros, which is great. There it is. There's those levels. Man, I think it's just so cool however they get those levels. However Topstep and Hoag gets those levels, it's just, man, like I said, it's not a signals class. It's not like, hey, we sell here, buy here, but it's just like, hey, look at this. There could be some type of interest there on this market. Same with the rest of these, which is now way down here. Way down here, clear down there, because of gold's been rallying so much. So there's gold, there's NASDAQ. We went through both of them. NASDAQ, we are starting to get we're just kind of consolidating right now in this like barcode consolidation. I would like to see a pullback to these 280s, to be honest. Nice pullback down to settlement here in the NASDAQ. Let's take a look. I want to see what's the top step levels here in the NASDAQ. And then we'll get to some questions. Last week's low, okay, so it looks like we did come up and we tested this last week's low and we're sold off on that. We had yesterday's low, which is way up there. We have the weekly kickoff low, which, you know, seems to be like the nice breakout. And interesting. It's interesting. I always, every once in a while when we start talking about these levels, I like to see how it lines up with the way I view the market. And yeah, NASDAQ is now starting to sell off. We're starting to sell off, push these lows. 325. NASDAQ's, okay, so let me do a quick market review. I want to see, because we got that Google news. NASDAQ's up 0.23%. So NASDAQ's up about 0.25%. And I've been doing this on fast markets. I think it's nice for traders to know. Yeah, gold's up 0.5%. But this is the big thing. Google is up 7% almost. Up 7%. Let me see. I could, yeah, I want to pull this up. It's crazy. Up 7% after hours. I think it was up 8% at one point, right? Let's see if I could pull this up. Just pull it up. Oh, come on. Oh, you know, I'll just pull it up because I posted it. I mean, that's the nice thing about following the socials, right? If I post about it, it's easier to there. And while I'm doing that, let's do a hashtag slow markets. Hashtag slow markets. There's the Twitter for the hashtag slow markets. Just tag me in it. If you're new here, if you haven't done it before, it's fun. It's a fun thing that I like to do. You know, tag me on the social media. And if you tag me in a trade, you tag me in a setup, maybe your trading desk, your command station, whatever you want to call it, then you know, I'll show it on air here. And then there's the Instagram. Been doing updates when I'm not on air, which has been fun. It's been nice. It's hopefully helpful for the community, and I've enjoyed every bit of it. So let me see if I could pull up that Google chart. Let's show you. It was crazy. Because it came as a surprise to me, which is, I'm surprised the NASDAQ isn't up more than what we're seeing. Maybe somebody in the chat knows a little bit more than I do when it comes to this. The chat always knows more than I do, right? Chat is all-knowing. How do we get those top step levels like yours? It's an indicator. You come here, click indicators, you type in top step. It's called Top Step Daily Levels. Yeah. Is this going to not show? Give me 1 second. Yeah. This isn't much. Okay, bear with me. This is not the amazing chart thing, but let me see if I could. Oh, come on. My computer's my computer's running slow. My computer's running slow. But here's this. This is what I posted. When I looked at this, and I was just looking at this right at the close, Google just went straight up. I'm like, what is going on? What was going on? I got in some long options. So I was buying in the dip today. And then after the close, this is 5%. Google's up like, what is it? We're up higher than this. It was up almost 8%. It just went straight up. And then I came over here to the NASDAQ. And NASDAQ, I mean, it pumped, but not as dramatic as I was thinking at first. I mean, Google's just one of the stocks in the basket of stocks in the NASDAQ. NASDAQ, 100, it's a basket of stocks. It's not just one. It's like Google, Apple, Tesla, Nvidia. It makes up this. It's an equity, right? It's equity. It's equities, I guess. It's not like gold where, you're either long gold or short gold. If you're long the NASDAQ, you're actually long all the stocks, right? If you're short the NASDAQ, you're actually short basically all the stocks. But then one stock might weigh heavier than the other one. For example, Nvidia has been the hot conversation because it's so weighted in the NASDAQ, and Apple and some of the bigger ones. Saw news at close, wasn't expecting the extended move after pullback. Yeah, I mean, I was not expecting that on Google, but I was kind of looking for that here on the NASDAQ, and we're not really getting it. That's why you see that $200 loss here in this account where I bought here. I bought in these, I think it was like, I ended up getting in at like 37, and then it stopped me out. It was no bueno, and I was looking for a long. And so I'm going to be a little bit more patient. We are about 8 minutes to the top of the hour. I'm going to be looking for longs here in the NASDAQ. And if we do get a pullback down to these 270s, I might get a little bit more aggressive because this is that nice level of support, resistance, support, resistance. And so maybe we do come down to these 260s, 270s looking for a long opportunity. Or if not, then guess what? This was the next level. These are these 320s. This is a level of support and resistance, and you can see there's, maybe that is the reason why we're seeing some consolidation here. But now we're starting to break down below. We're pushing these session lows. NASDAQ only up 0.2% now. Let's just watch it. Let's watch it and see. I'm curious to see if this holds, if this level holds, or if we look for a level lower. Now, remember last night, the sell-off came during London session, right? This was the start of London. That's London. And that's when that big sell-off started. That's what caused the major sell-off. Curious, maybe we get back up there. Maybe London, we push up higher. Let's take a look at gold. Let's look at gold. You want that music? You want that music going? All right, let's get this music. Let me know if it's a little loud. I got to turn the speaker on my end too. It seems like they're selling the NQ off overnight. Options will be stuck until open. Always rise. Yeah, my options are stuck until open. Yeah. Yep. I wish I would have been able to close them, but they pumped it. They pumped it. Now I cannot close my options until it open. That's the negative thing about stock options and options in general, right? It's the beautiful thing about futures, because in the futures, you could open and close positions whenever the market's open. So right now, we could open and close positions. Unfortunately, my options, I'm holding on. There's nothing I could do. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, this market holds up. Hopefully, this market will hold up my options. But we are starting to sell off here. 319s. Options have made you so much money. Also lost so much. Yep. Everything we do in these financial markets, it's double-edged sword, right? When do my contracts expire? They expire tomorrow. They expire tomorrow. Time to hedge my Google options with futures shorts. Hey, there's something to that, Manny. Futures are designed for hedging, right? It's a great instrument to hedge positions. A lot of major banks and institutions, they use futures to hedge positions. Your sword is dull on both sides. FSTV, I sold my Apple 230 call 10 minutes before the closing bell. Oh, oof, FSTV. What kind of option? Yeah, so all I did was remember, this is a futures trading show. We talk about futures. We have traders from all different levels. So options can be very complicated to a lot of new traders. But all I did today was I was looking to get in long on this pullback and this dip. So I ended up getting in long the NASDAQ, basically, which QQQ's NASDAQ. I use those interchangeably when I am talking sometimes. And yeah, sure enough, this market just kept going up and up. And I'm looking for the NASDAQ to hold and stay above 23,200 before the end of day tomorrow. We'll see if we could do that. 23,200. Now, this is just a rough estimate. It's not exact. But, yep, I'm looking for this NASDAQ. I ended up buying right around here. I ended up buying here. Nice break on gold. Yeah, NASDAQ's starting to sell off. Let's take a look at gold. And that gold's starting to push lower too. Wonder if we come back down and test these 3600s. Let's see if we come back down and test these 3600s. Yeah, I don't look at correlation between gold and equities. I don't. I mean, look at today, right? Gold was, yeah. Correlation between equity and metals. Some people do. You know what's funny? Let's take a look at Bitcoin. I wanted to talk about this. I was going to talk about it on air. But what's funny is when someone's talking to me about Bitcoin and they're like, yeah, Bitcoin's a hedge against the equities selling off. And then I'm just thinking, like, is it really though? Is Bitcoin a hedge against like the equities? And the person I was talking to was like, yeah, man, if your tech stock's selling off, you buy Bitcoin, it'll go up. And I'm like, do you realize that one of the companies in the NASDAQ called MicroStrategies is really leveraged Bitcoin, right? And so like, I don't know who this person really was. I just is like, I was waiting in line and he started talking to me about this. And it was just one of those situations like, I'm not going to say anything and I'm just going to let him just finish what he has to say because I'm not getting into it with him. Because I can start talking about like MicroStrategy. I'm like, wow, you know, MicroStrategies, if Bitcoin goes up, MicroStrategies go up, right? And yeah, there's just little holes that you could just puncture. And then my luck, he would be wanting to sit there and talk for like hours. So I stopped looking at correlation and I won't talk. I won't really talk about correlation with anybody, to be honest. They didn't want to be micro? I don't know, Bilbo. I do not know. I don't keep up with that. All right, NASDAQ. NASDAQ holding those 20s. We bounced off those 17s. I like to see that. Invite into boxing. No. Maybe some divergence. I will say that there is a level to correlation that you might see something move before something else. And it's very situational. It depends so much, right? Where if someone's looking at headline risk, right? Say there's something, war starts breaking out, and you start seeing gold go straight up, and you start seeing crude oil go straight up. You know, that could signal that there's something going on in these markets. It's like, okay, there's fear, there's something going on. So there is a level of understanding how we like, and Hoop probably knows this a whole lot better than I am because he's watching so many more markets and he's traded on the pits and he traded a lot longer than I have. He can start to see details like that. It's like, wow, hogs is going up, cattle's, and like just going through these different markets, and you could start to see it. Like, is this only towards the NASDAQ or is this across all these markets? And you could start to see movements like that, like I think the best way that I can describe it with my experience is these markets are like a living, breathing thing. And sometimes you can see a headline affect the entire market. Does this make sense? Or am I just over here rambling on and mumbling hoop? Just like, oh, what's this guy doing on YouTube? He's ranting. I'm just over here ranting, just talking to hear myself talk. Sometimes it feels like that. Sometimes it feels because I'm in a big room by myself and I'm just hearing myself talk sometimes. Yeah, the market has its own heartbeat, and each of the individual instruments have their own little heartbeats too. Rizzy Drip, is this a coach's combine? Nope, this is one I am trying to get funded with. What am I talking about again? I don't know. Short-term memory. Short-term memory. Am I in a trade? Are we long? Are we short? Yeah. All right. Let's see if there's any. Let's do some. I got a couple good hashtag slow markets. Wall Street Bulls coming through. Slow markets with Coach Dakota. You've been trading well. I've been watching. I see posts. I see the good posts. I love to see it. Community is trading it up. Shout out to my VIP team. I was on air today for the VIP during TopstepTV. Smitty to Hippie caught a quick move on gold, micro gold, while waiting for Coach DBA to go live. Look at that, trading it up. Trade on the XFA, green on the screen. I like this. I like that you just block this out. Maybe you're trading, you just follow your process, get in long, not looking at the dollar amounts. I highly recommend this. If you're struggling with the psychological side, looking at the P&L, looking at that, having that affect your trading, this is a great example of doing so. Just close it all off. Just not even do that. All right. I almost clicked that red X. Yeah, wrong one. Great trade. Great trading. Love to see it. See the hashtag slow markets. Hashtag slow markets. Mr. MLC says, stop gambling, Dakota. I'm sorry if it looks like gambling from your point of view. Sometimes if you don't understand something, it might look differently from your perspective, right? Oh, well, he's gone. How do you block that off, says Casey? You go over here to the settings, you click on privacy, and then you can just go through and just block it all off. The real newspaper, honestly, it's not, it's like you look at something and you might not understand it, and so it looks like gambling to you. To me, gambling is driving slow in the fast lane. Man, not using your blinker, that's more of a gamble than anything we're doing here. Someone says, long the Nikkei. I haven't looked at the Nikkei forever. I'm just a really good guesser. We're just guessing here. You have not seen that feature before. Oh, good. Yeah, always use your signal when you're in traffic. Order block break and retest. Yeah, we broke down. I'm curious to see if we come back up here to these upper 30s. But let's keep an eye on gold. Let's keep an eye on gold. Gold has been the mover. Gold's just moving. End of story. Let's see if there might be a decent opportunity here on gold. You can see how. Where's that 100 tick? Let's get those 100 ticks going. See if there's some. Gold's moving. We're past the top of the hour. I would have made a great trucker. Doom, I would have. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that, Doom. I'll be on with you tomorrow morning, Doom. We can have some good conversation with trucking and lot lizards and. Oh man, yeah. The trucking world is definitely a different world than what we're doing here. Gold's looking like, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Man, that was a nice run. The scalp order. Do you trade the orb strategy? I do not. I do not trade an opening range breakout strategy, but I'm not against it. What do you know about them? No comment. No comment, chat. We're leaving that one. We're gonna leave that one. Leave that one right where we found it. Oh man. Let's I gotta change the track right here. Do I got a commercial license? No, but I had a few trucks. Couple owner operators. Couple owner operators. I don't think I'll ever own a truck again. Doom. Well, we're bouncing off these 602s. I mean, that's the one thing about all-time highs. Since we're at all-time highs, we don't have much to look to the left, but we do have this little pivot, and now we're starting to find buyers again at that level, but there's nothing to the left when we're at all-time highs. So as a technical trader, it makes trading a little bit difficult when you are pushing all-time highs because you don't have much to the left. Sold your truck to stay local. 13 years CDL. Yeah, shout out to all the CDL drivers, honestly. That is one heck of a job. All the good CDL drivers, let's say that. It takes a lot. It really is. Like the modern cowboy. How did the car shopping go? We're going to find out tomorrow. I ended up getting I don't know. We're gonna find out tomorrow how my car shopping is going. I am the trucker. No, I'm not getting a Bentley or a Porsche. But I did get I am looking at a BMW. Farming, no CDL needed. Uh-oh. Yeah, there's a couple nice BMWs I'm looking at. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Gold starting to sell off here. Can we see 3,600 come back? Let's take a look at NASDAQ. Are we still we're kind of just hanging out in these upper 20s in this range. Hey, I don't mind. I don't mind if NASDAQ flatlines for the next 24 hours. Going to test 3,600? Yes, we are. You said it, Hoop. Your wish is gold's command, it looks like. Bunch of Porsches in Aspen, Colorado. 90s BMWs are the best. Do you have Lamborghini? No, I will not buy a Lamborghini. Let's see if we get those 3,600s. Oh. If it was a dramatic difference, okay, chat. I was sitting there test driving some Honda Civics and like a Honda. I'm over here testing out Hondas. Here's the story. I'll tell the story tomorrow. All right, but here's a little teaser of how I went car shopping. I stopped at the Honda dealership, was test driving the Honda something CV, like just a compact SUV Honda. I drove that for like 20 minutes. Seen a BMW dealership, pulled into the BMW dealership with my test drive, like with the Honda I'm test driving. Yeah, the CVR, CRV, C or something. Drove up to the BMW dealership with the Honda. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for something like this, but better. I should have recorded the whole thing. It was pretty funny. Because he asked me, like, what am I looking for? I'm like, yeah, something like this. I like this. All right, we're not getting quite to those 3600s. Should try an Audi too. They're fun. Lease it for taxes. No, what I need to do is we need to show it on air so I could. It's like, hey, this is a tax write-off. I'm marketing. I'm such a great trader. The Audi S5. Your 12% discount on the Lexus. Hey, anybody in chat have a discount for a BMW? If you work in the BMW world. All right, come on, let's see 3600 for gold. 3600 for gold. Someone said company car. I just need like a couple stickers with DBA concepts on there. Buy a truck. We just slap a few DBA concept stickers, and I'm blend right in with influencers. Do you look at liquidity? I don't. Support and resistance, supply and demand, technicals. Get that right off. Get that right off. It's gonna be the end of the year before we know it. It's already August. It's already past August. August is done. We're in September. Summer doldrums, no longer here. No, you need a BTFD somewhere on the. I could just like magic marker the BMW out and put BTFD. We're not seeing those 3600s yet. Yeah, it's already September. Summer doldrums are kind of gone, right? It feels nice. We like this liquidity as traders. We love this liquidity, or this volatility. Like, this was some good volatile markets. Like, to be honest, win or lose. Like, if you're struggling in this market, okay, maybe you get chopped up, maybe you have a losing day, but one day does not make or break a trader. Let's make sure we get that straight. One day does not show you whether you're a good trader or a bad trader. Never judge your trading strategy or who you are as a trader based off of one day, okay? But look at this volatility. Like, it's nice to see this back, right? 200 points down, followed by, 250 points up, and then another, 230 points down, followed by, 180, and then another, 60, 70, and then just a nice pump at the end of the day. So there is plenty of volatility in these markets now that we're seeing more and more opportunities. There's opportunities, volatility and opportunity go hand in hand. The summer is over. Like, honestly, this right here, that was like this was a really nice day in July. Like that, what was the daily range in July? Like some of the New York sessions, it feels like we only had like 80 points. And so you can imagine sitting there all day watching the markets and you only see this big of a range. It's like, okay, if you bought and sold this, that was the entire move for the day. That was the daily range. If you caught 100 points, like you caught the bottom and the top of the day, it felt like. And now we're seeing, multiple opportunities throughout the day for those types of moves, which is nice to be back. And I talked about that at the beginning of this week. I talked about it a little bit. Just as traders, we need to understand that we could start continuing to see an increase in volatility. There's going to be more opportunities, maybe sizing down, looking for that, being patient. That's one thing I need to always continue to be working on, is just being patient. Yes, it's putting in range. NQ getting scary. Yeah, we're not seeing any buyers stepping in since we opened up tonight's price action. A lot of that came in, let's see, after hours. So that's basically the close. These are rough estimates. This is like where we opened up tonight. So we're in between the close of the New York session and the open of tonight's price, right in the middle. Is it going to head down and retest these 70s? Do you like looking at option values for futures, Greeks? I don't. No, I typically don't look at futures options lately. Yeah. It's a trap to get everyone out. What is a trap to get everyone out? Edgy, your video's delayed again. You might have to refresh and go live. Go to the live stream. Live. Everyone that bought above that big candle is getting stopped out. Everyone that bought above here. When do we start the December contract? Options usually end the third Friday of every month. We are in U. Double check with Hoagland, the team, in the morning. They have all the dates. They know. They know. Topstep X will change it for you. That's the nice thing. The platform will change it for you if you're worried about the rollover. The fall season is the best season. Pumpkin spice and dark candles charts. Do we go? We might go push these lows again. Dakota, look at gold. We've been looking at gold. It's just hovering right above 3,600. If chat knows by now, this man, Bruno, gives out the lucky rolls in Discord. Oh. Uh-oh. Everyone's going to be asking him now. Yeah. I'm gonna keep an eye on gold. I'm keeping an eye on gold. Gold's broken out. So I'm hesitant to buy gold up here just because we've had such a rally. I do want to see a pullback in gold. If gold rallies, it could just rally without me. I don't mind it. If it wants to rally without me. I want a deep pullback here in gold. There's 2,600 for Hoag, or for you, Doom. Hoop. 2290? No. There we go. Back down below 2,600. No, baddie. I don't look at divergence. I know what it is, but I don't look at it. September 19th, 2025. Expires. NASDAQ still chilling at 320s. We might drift lower for most of this Asian session, to be honest. I'd like to see... Okay, if I'm going to look for longs in the NASDAQ, it would be down towards this level. Do I want to see it go down there? No. I just want gold. I just want the NASDAQ to just go up. But if we do get down there, then it's going to be tempting to look for longs. Nice support resistance. We didn't really get much follow through. That's interesting. Let's see. What are we doing here in... Remember the hashtag slow markets is still on. We only got a couple submissions. A couple good ones. How do I think the markets will react to if rate cuts happen? Usually positive, but you never know. Sometimes it's more about the context. It's like it's like that. If everyone's expecting rate cuts and then we get rate cuts, and they pay attention to more of like the speech or the verbiage, and it's like earnings, right? It's like Nvidia earnings. Okay, the earnings were good, but then what does the forward guidance look like? What does the earnings call? What's the tie color? Is Powell wearing a purple tie this time, or maybe Powell's gonna wear a green tie? Inflation, the shoes, the tie, article of clothing, the color of a clothing. Good morning, 150-point wicks. Well, Nasdaq's continuing to push lower. Kind of feeling some of this Google News candlestick. Let's see what we're doing there. New session lows. Gold throwing a fit like a gold's throwing a fit. Yes, Doom. Powell has a lot of influence on these markets with the words he speaks. I put 2,000 in live account. Do you recommend starting with a 50K combine instead and make my way to live? Carlos, it's up to you. We have a risk disclosure. It's not financial advice, but I will always recommend starting in a safer environment if you've never traded before, or if you're new to trading. Safer environment being assimilated, which is a combine, and getting used to trading, understanding how to trade before putting your own money at risk into these markets. It's a cheaper and safer way. Yeah. Live rich or die? I don't know. MP's been teasing it. Across 40 years of rate cuts in gold, average 1-year return is 11%. Did someone just jump into a range, watch the ES stall and didn't jump in? Oh. Now, it is Tuesday. It's technical Tuesdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays. I am ending a little bit short. We still have about 20 minutes, over 20 minutes, and we are right in the middle of this range. Let's take a look at some gold. We're bouncing now. You know, we could do both. The beauty about charts now is we could do this thing called we could watch two markets at the same time. The power of two markets. We'll watch the Nasdaq over here on the left selling off, and we'll watch gold over here on the right. Of course, Carlos was down 600, now only down 180. Think I'm done till tomorrow. Gold playing around too much. Vincent, yeah, you know, that's sometimes the best move is to not trade. Trading's optional. There's always somebody, like if you were down 600, you would have been very happy to only be down 180. Imagine the gold individuals taking delivery. Hey, we need to convince MP to take delivery on one gold contract. Or silver contract. Something. We got to take delivery on something here at Topstep. That'd be fun. Is 23,300 a valid lever for you on the NAS? 2300 is a big round psychological number. So yeah, very much it could be a valid. Yeah, gold and silver are very much sisters. They are very similar markets. They're metals, right? Precious metals. We got gold over here on the right and NASDAQ over here on the left. And what I have marked out is where we opened price action tonight and where we finished the New York session. And so we had a nice 100 plus bounce due to Google News. Take delivery on live cattle. Doom, will you haul them? Would you haul them to us? You have your CDL. You could haul the cattle. Whatever it is, Doom, you're driving it. No, you have a box truck. You have a box. Whatever we take delivery off, Doom, you got to be the delivery man. You got to just pull up with a semi truck, box truck, just full of something. Doom, what do you got? All-time high prices in cattle. Yeah, that 2600 level, we dipped right below it here in gold, and we're bouncing off of it. What do you mean take delivery? So in the futures markets, I mean, for example, we're trading the NASDAQ, but what we're referring to is taking delivery. So if you buy, say, gold, right? So you buy gold, and you're saying, I want to own gold at 3,600. I believe it's 100 ounces, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. But it's 100 ounces of gold. If you buy 3,600, you have the right to own gold at 3,600. Now, when expiration, right? Expiration, you can choose to take delivery. I don't know what the numbers are, but it's like 99% of contracts end up just expiring and not taking delivery. But like cattle, grain, corn, hogs, where big companies will actually take delivery of that product. Like that's what the futures are designed for, is so that way farmers and companies, they could agree upon a price in the future, right? That's why it's called futures. And if I need to sell cattle, say 6 months from now, I could lock in my price for cattle, and then whenever, you know, the time comes, I can deliver that cattle in 6 months from now, or orange juice, right? Or something. That's what futures, that's what we're doing. We provide liquidity. We are liquidity providers. Shannon says we have 120 female cows, mama cows, right? Yeah. Yep. So we get caught up in the day-to-day day trading, you know, intraday 5-minute candles of this. Then when you zoom out, yeah, we're speculators in this market. We are liquidity providers in the largest and most competitive financial markets in this world. And yeah, it's weird to think of that when you put it in perspective. It's like, wow, I actually own at this moment in time this notional value, or 100 ounces of gold, or whatever product that you're trading. Now, odds are we're not gonna, I don't think anybody in this chat, or myself included, would ever be like, yeah, I'm gonna take delivery of whatever this is. I'm taking delivery of hogs. We're taking the hogs. Believe it or not, cash settle like hogs now. They used to be called live hogs and live cattle, not anymore. Oh wow, 40,000 pounds. What? It would take delivery of 40,000 pounds of hogs. Is there a diamond market? I don't think there's a diamond futures market. That's a lot of beef. Where's the beef? Dude, how do you feel about FOMO? Like, I keep thinking right now gold is going to pop. Follow your process. I get FOMO all the time, but I the key to FOMO is not acting upon it. You're always going to get FOMO in markets. Markets are going to go your favor and you wish you would have bought it, or you was going to buy it and you missed it, or this or that. There's always going to be FOMO in the markets. Always. You will always feel that FOMO. The woulda, coulda, shoulda. Trust me. I have a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda traders. All the time. All the time. Ooh, here's no one. Victor. Victor. Hashtag slow markets. Green on the screen. Looks like micros trading up the NASDAQ. Love to see it. 1.26 R to R. Bang, bang. Saw a setup. Got confirmation. Good trade. Great work. Coach Dakota passed another combine earlier in Globex this evening. Waiting to XFA it next month. Okay. Great. Yeah, gold's bouncing here too. Coach Dakota, is there a Coach Jack in your team, Topstep? Yeah, we have Jack come on air all the time in fast markets. Coach Jack. We have an older Jack too. He loves the corn markets. Loves the corn markets. Ooh, it's the juice. Corn, it's the juice. Yeah, gold's popping. NASDAQ dropping. We might come all the way down to 300. It's just been this consistent grind down. Yeah, it looks like it might be a slow bleed in the NASDAQ. Sometimes in the NASDAQ, when I see a market like this, it's kind of like a slow drift down, and then reversals can happen right around London session. Nice bounce. Yeah, Coach Hoop. That was a good call. We got down there to these 3600s, tested 98, and now we're seeing some buyers step in there. But NASDAQ, so far, we are about 76. We came off 76 points off those highs. But I'm going to be honest. I am liking that long. I am liking the long right there here in the NASDAQ. So I'm going to take a trade, chat. I am going to take a trade in the NASDAQ. I'm going to be looking for a trade. Let's just say that. Let's see how we react on this, on these lower. I'm going to take a trade now. I like that we bounced off this. I like that. All right. We'll risk about $600. And now let's get some buyers stepping in. Let's see if we could get some buyers stepping in. Or I'm just going to be completely wrong on this. Ooh, you know, if you tuned in last week. Okay, hear me out. If you tuned in last week, what was the setup, chat? What is the setup if you tuned in last week? Right? Do you know? You know? Tuned in last week. Oh, we're not quite there. We didn't really get to that 38%. I was going to say, oh, does this qualify as the setup on that little strategy that we put, strategy builder, last week? Or do we say it's based off of this? Based off of that? Based off of this? What would be your retracement? That's why there's a lot more to it than just saying, that looks like 38%. Some traders will look at this and say, actually, you know what? If you're going to do a fib retracement, you want to do it from that. And so I'm like, maybe that's what you want to do it off of. But whatever you do, you just try and do it consistently. Do it consistently, whatever you do. Whatever you do, do it consistently. Okay, hey, Coach, can I ask you, what made you take this trade? So, two things. I'm bullish. We have this level, right? I didn't really talk about this one much. I was kind of looking at these a little bit lower. So I might be a little early on this one. And the fact that we rejected these teens, right? So over here on the right-hand side, we had the 100 tick, support, and we just completely bounced back up right here. So I was okay taking this risk and having a wide stop loss. So it's slow markets. I am for wider stop losses in the slow markets, giving this market room to breathe. And I'm not looking for too much. This is kind of a scalp. I'm going to manage this manually. This is kind of like emergency stop, and something happens and just I'm out. It's minus $600. I'm going to manage this one manually on air here with everybody. I'll probably just get out of it before the end of class. No stop loss. No, we got to have a stop loss. We're going to stop those losses from happening. Or at least big losses, right? Got to stop the big losses from happening. Take profit. Do we need to take profit? I'm going to manage it manually. Let's see. I don't know. I don't really think we're going to get all the way up to this level before the end of slow markets. If I'm going to leave this one on overnight, this is just example, right? If I'm going to leave this on overnight, then it'd be something like that, right? Maybe just a 1-to-1. If I go to bed and we're just kind of consolidating, maybe I could even look for a retest of these highs, these 370s, depending on how bullish I am. And the way I'm looking at this, if I get into 2 contracts, I could close one off at maybe in these 30s, and then I could hold on for one as a runner. But we shall see. I have my stop loss down here at these 280s. We shall see. My stop losses, I'm going to be honest, this could be a very typical case of some of my issue this year has been stop loss is a better entry. Because if we get down to my stop loss, that is looking like a better entry. But I like this as just a little slow markets trade. Do you watch higher time frames? Yes, Ruby. Yep. At the very beginning of slow markets, I'll do a top-down analysis starting on the daily chart. I start on the daily, then I'll look at the hourly, and then I'll zoom in to trading time frame. Why not trade on the 15-second time frame? Why not? Well, who trades on the 15-second time frame? Oh man. Oh my god. Don't ask that. Coach Hoag would love, I don't know. I don't think Coach Hoag could trade on a 15-second time. I don't, yeah. Yeah, I would get a heart attack. 100 ticks is fast enough for me. Yeah. 1 week for bias, 15-second for entry. Yeah, why not? Why not? Why not? Do I trade supply and demand? Yes. Wealthy Yanni. We trade these markets. Technical analysis, supply and demand, support and resistance. Five-minute and 5-second for entry. Serious question, what time frame should I be trading at? Ranch, it depends on your trading. It depends. Last week, okay, if you missed it, let's make sure I get this straight. Okay, chat. If you missed this, and if you're asking those questions, last week, you're in luck. I did a strategy builder class all last week. Every slow markets, 30 minutes each night, I did a strategy builder class, and I broke down a very basic, simple strategy. I'm not recommending that strategy. It's an example only about building a strategy. So hopefully that gives you, and then if you tune in every night, for slow markets, you could see how I trade. You could see how I look at the markets. You could see what time frames I use. Come in here, ask those questions. You could see that. Is it right for you? Maybe not, right? I recommend that you figure out your own process. Not copy someone like, oh, I'm going to copy how this person trades. I'm going to copy them exactly. No, but what you could do is like, oh, I like the way this person trades. Oh, I like the way that person trades. And you could implement how somebody else trades, and then you can make it your own, right? Mo was saying this today during trading with Topstep around lunch, was, talking about ICT, talking about the different concepts and strategies that are out there online that, maybe they are just renamed, or, someone took this and they renamed it that, or vice versa. There's so much out there that you can learn from, and there's no right, there's no wrong. You could use different concepts. You could use different things from different places and different traders and learn from them, but just make sure you're applying it to yourself and your own trading, and you are building your own process and your own strategy, and you're not just using someone else's. I'm renaming some stuff tomorrow morning. Stay tuned. Okay. Hey, DBA Concepts. DBA Concepts. If a strategy is publicly available, it can't be profitable. Not true. You could give the same strategy to 1,000 different people, and they're all going to come up with different results. I've seen people that made their strategy public, and they're profitable, but for a fact that the people who are picking up on that strategy, they're not going to have as good of like a risk management or a trade management as a profitable trader, right? Like, the main thing is the individual. You cannot take the individuality out of a trading strategy unless you're doing an algorithm. An algorithm is a completely different thing, right? I don't think there's an algorithm out there that's profitable that someone's willing to share. But as an individual, yeah, because I could give the same strategy to 1,000 traders, and I think there's still going to be everyone's going to have different results. Yeah, buy low, sell high. Buy the dip. DBA Concepts. Yeah, there you go. That's a profitable strategy. I've proven it. You buy the dip. But then how, right? The question is how. How do you buy the dip? Rigs and digs? Not sure. Rigs and digs. Not sure. Maybe take a look at support or the Discord. I have a cucumber. Remind me what that is, Doom. I've heard you say that before. A cucumber. Oh. I'm not going to ask. Doom, no comments. A cucumber. Hey, look, this long working. This long is working. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's take a look at the GC, and then we could just end it here tonight. I think that's gonna be. Let's call it good. We are coming up to the end of class. I'm gonna end it there. I'm gonna end it here and there, and that is gonna be it. I'm going in tomorrow. $14. $14. There's that little scalp. I think it can still work out, but I am done. I'm gonna turn off the charts. Not gonna look at them. Not gonna think about it. I'm going to be on Fast Markets with Doom there in the chat tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning is going to be a big one. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be fun. It's exciting. And, yeah, we shall see. We shall see. Tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow during slow markets, I'll have Coach Jay joining me. It's a short week. And, yeah, I will see you tomorrow, chat. Bye.